All right, we're going to be going live to Slinvile Masakane a little bit later as well. Hello, I'm Gareth Edwards. This is Faith Mangophe. It's a very, very busy show we have with us this evening. We're going to be talking about all the parties coming up a little bit later as well. We're also going to find out what's happening in the world of sport. OG Molefe, hello to you. What are you watching for us?
Good afternoon, Gareth. Well, we'll be looking at football, of course, a lot on the go. We also celebrate Mo Salah, who's got another accolade to himself, and look back at the year it was for the Springboks.
All right, we'll also check in with your weather as well. However, Faith, our first story, not a good story to start on.
Definitely not a good story. And of course, it's speaking about how it's been a bloody weekend on some of the country's roads where traffic volumes are increasing as people make their way to various holiday destinations.
Yeah, 4 people, among them a child, have died on the N3 near Bergville Toll Plaza in KwaZulu-Natal. And in the Western Cape, nearly 20 fatalities have been reported since yesterday. I believe I have on the line with us, Faith, I'm going to speak to hopefully Western Cape Traffic Chief. It's Kenny Africa who is joining us. I believe, Kenny Africa, are you on the line with us? Hello to you, sir. If you are, what's the latest on the roads in the Western Cape? Kenny Africa, it's Gareth Edwards. You're live on eNCA. What's the story on the Western Cape roads this festive season?
Yeah, well, for today, we're sitting with this bad accident that we had early this morning. This horror crash on the N1 just outside Touws River, where we lost 12 lives. 4 kids died in this crash, and 8 adults lost their lives. When a taxi driver early this morning, on about 3:15 on the N1 just outside Touws River, lost control of his vehicle, and he then plunged into a concrete wall next to the road, leaving 12 people dead. And then during the course of today, yet another fatal crash on the N2 just outside Cape Town, just past Muway, Kailicha, where another driver, 31-year-old, lost control of his vehicle on the N2 and he plunged into a lamppost. This 31-year-old also lost his life in this gruesome crash.
Kenny, what's happening as far as police visibility is like down in the Western Cape? We always know that in KZN they have a zero-tolerance approach to speeding and drinking and driving. These numbers, however, not looking good for the Western Cape. Where's it going wrong?
Well, definitely we also have a very high visible policing on our roads in the Western Cape. We're rendering a 24/7 service. Yesterday, throughout the day, last night till early this morning, our officers were busy with roadblocks throughout the Western Cape province. And yet we've got this bad crash that happened around about 3 o'clock. You know, fatigue is taking its toll on our roads. If people taking on these long distances and they don't want to listen to our call to adhere to the golden rule in traffic, and that is that you have to stop after every 200 kilometers or 2 hours when you're taking on these long distances. Take a nap, and when you fit, you take on the next 200 kilometers or 2 hours. But people tend to drive from one province to another without having rest in between, and that is dangerous. You are not endangering only the passengers in your own vehicle's lives, but also those of other people who are using our roads in the country.
Kenny, are these roads that we're talking about now that you've explained to me when we started chatting, are they particularly hotspot areas down in the Western Cape? I'm not from there, so I don't know the areas. If they are hotspot areas, what are you going to try and do to minimize any further accidents and hopefully fatalities in those roads?
Well, definitely it is not a hotspot area. It is the national road, the N1, the main route between Cape Town and the north, going to Johannesburg and also to the Eastern Cape. And as I said, this accident occurred in the early morning hours of today. And, you know, I believe that fatigue played a role here, and fatigue took its toll. And once again, we are pleading to our motorists. We, from traffic side, are doing everything in our power. We had 525 traffic officers deployed all over the Western Cape, and our officers were highly visible. But an accident like this, when it happens, if a driver fell asleep behind the steering wheel and lose control over his vehicle 10 kilometers further, there will be a lot of traffic officers. But it happened, and we need to address this fatigue problem. We said to our traffic officers, and we instructed them, that any taxi driver or a public transport vehicle that we get on the road after 8 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning. If that taxi driver is tired, then we will pull the vehicle off the road and we will take the keys of that driver and let him sleep for 4 to 6 hours. And we were doing this since the start of this festive season. But unfortunately, here we sit with one taxi that was 4 kilometers away from the nearest town. He lost control over his vehicle and leave 12 people dead.
Kenny Africa, I'm going to say thank you very much indeed. No doubt we'll continue to talk to you as the festive season continues to pick up.